To advertise with us, donate sponsorships and suggestions, email us at trendafricatv@gmail.com or call us on 773-312-0318 or 773-756-6678. Remember to also follow and like us as Trend Africa TV on Facebook so you can always catch us live. On Instagram as Trend Africa TV 123 or subscribe to our YouTube channel as Trend Africa TV and click on the notification button to watch previous shows. You can also visit our website for your African news, entertainment, fashion, and sports updates on www.trendafricaonline.net. Trend Africa TV, redefining Africa. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Virtual Community Health Wellness Expo. I am your host, Empress Mawusi, and today I am going to be joined by my moderator, my co-host, Mr. Efa Ameyao, aka Kakape. We want to thank right now our feed is streaming live on Trend Africa TV, Facebook, and YouTube, GNC, Facebook, and YouTube, Holodio Show, and Progressive Minds. If you're joining us right now, wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for joining us. And this is a community wellness show that happens every year. We decided to go virtual, and this is sponsored by Ghana National Council in collaboration with Trend Africa TV. Efa Ameya, are you there, Kakape?
I'm here, Your Highness.
Thanks for joining us. What do we have lined up today?
Thank you very much. So, our health is very important to us. So, we're going to look at a lot of health issues that borders on us as a community, and more especially for those of us in the diaspora, as far as more so in the midst of this COVID-19. So to begin with, we have a lot of lineup for us tonight.
Okay.
And we are going to end up entertained and, leave here with something to enrich our health and make sure that, we take it as a serious thing. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Kakape, aka. No, he's actually Efa Ameyao, aka Kakape, the other way around. So, viewers, we are going to take a little break right now, and we'll use that little break to share the feed, invite our friends and loved ones. We have very important message. We have very important educative message for all of us to take home with, to today. So, please, let's share the feed, invite our friends, family, and loved ones, and we'll be right back. Don't touch the feed. When we come right back, the president of the Ghana National Council, Mr. Pa Kwesi Sam, will be giving his opening remarks. But for now, let's take a break, share the feed, and we'll be right back. Don't touch that.
It no be one photo. Say we dey fight corona.
My guys, I want to discuss some 7 things where people they talk about corona plus you.
You put the worry. You don't know say corona really kill black people.
Make you no make anybody lie you. Corona no dislodge anybody crap. True say it start for China, but right here, it catch everywhere where they fit kill anybody, especially people where they get some other sickness. For places like Yankee, corona they kill black people pass. Yeah, Charlie, some people say they talk say China people with inshara do am, or it be 5G self where they cause them. But shine your eye, it no be anybody do am. Where 5G to no go fit cause the sickness. The 5G self, it dey like the 4G way we all they take browse righty, it just be upgrade. People too, they talk say if you get corona with chop plain, take garlic, onion, ginger and lime, the sickness go. But this one too be lie. This thing's good for the body, mom, but I don't know if it prevent or cure corona.
So what about Sobolo?
Me self, I dey like Sobolo, but into no they do corona nothing.
Appeal to
Corona mainly they attack the lungs, so appeal no go fit do am nothing. The truth be say, people wey dem dey booze, corona they feel worried them papa. People too they talk say if you cut onions put your room, corona no go come there. But corona no they like mosquito, where go fit kill am plus coil.
then how we go feel protect on our body?
Corona they spread where more people self get, where they no know. So Charlie, if you no get anywhere important go, make you day house. But if you really for come out, then you for wear mask, then stay at least 2 meters away from other people. If for they wash your hands, then use hand sanitizer more times. But I beg, make you no drink am. If you dey call for sneeze too, do for your elbow inside. Take some bleach to clean surfaces where they touch. But this no be for your body. Finally, if you feel say get corona, may go chop for one corner so say no go spread them. If you get plenty rest, then drink more fluids. But if you dey make worse, then for call the emergency numbers. Charlie, this be all for today. But if I hear any other thing, I will come we could talk about them. For now, we will make sure say we go protect we, one our family, one our friends, then everybody from corona. We all for play one part, so say we no go increase the pressure where it dey on a healthcare system and on a healthcare professionals them at all.
But we for take responsibility and keep fighting with positivity.
Hello, everyone. Welcome again. If you're joining us, wherever you're joining us from, I want to welcome you. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Viewers, right now, without much ado, I would like to invite our very handsome president of the Ghana National Council, Mr. Pa Kwesi Sam, as he gives us his opening remarks. Mr. Pa Kwesi Sam, are you there? We cannot hear you. I guess you have muted yourself.
Yes, I guess you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you
Yeah,
now.
I like to put myself on mute. Yeah, so I don't cause any trouble. Hey, yeah, finally the day is here, right?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. First and foremost, let me thank all our viewers for making the time to be watching us tonight. As we all know, here in Chicago, the Ghana National Council have been doing our health and wellness expo every year. Unfortunately, this year, because of Corona, we weren't able to make it. But my team don't give up. And for that reason, our health team and the doctors around the neighborhood in Chicago here, plus a few of our doctor friends in Wisconsin and the Wisconsin community, made it a point to organize this 2020 virtual community health and wellness expo, even though we have the corona. And that is why we are here tonight on Facebook, YouTube Live. So in short, all I want to say is that health is very important. And so we thank our viewers for making it a point to watch us tonight to just, keep abreast with all the new changes in our health standards,
Yes. Our president has frozen, but we'll tell him very soon and he can come back. Mr. Kakape, are you there?
Yeah, Mr. President was trying to, get all our attention and try to get everybody involved. But technology,
Yes.
technology gets
So
that in.
so as soon as he can rectify everything right there, he can come back and join us, Mr. President.
Yes.
So without much ado, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Kakape to do the introductions of our next speaker.
Thank you very much, Empress. We have a lineup of very able and professionals who are here today to give us information on our health as well as other important issues. When it comes to health, it's not only about food and medicine, but other things get involved. Be short of cash, and you see that health is a big issue. So we have lined up for today. One person is going to talk to us about COVID-19. She is a very educated person. She took it upon herself to join us today because she believes in what we are doing and that is going to help us here. She is a certified, registered nurse anesthetist to say, and a business owner of CPR and Vision Services, published author and speaker during the 2020 Diversity in Nursing Advanced Practices panel at the Johns Hopkins School of Nursing. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of us gathered here, those watching us from afar, let us all welcome Ruby Gardner. Ruby, floor is for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, for that warm introduction. I want to say thank you to everyone for this opportunity. And I'll just get right into it. So, as a certified registered nurse anesthetist, my job as it pertains to COVID-19 primarily has to do with airway management. Anytime there's an individual who comes into the hospital who is sick, who has severely desaturated from their respiratory illness of COVID-19, or who has progressed to respiratory distress, then I'm going to be the individual to establish an airway, to intubate them, put them on a mechanical ventilation, and then to monitor them on the ventilator. So I'm going to jump right into tonight's topic, the big topic of the year, actually, which is coronavirus, or AKA COVID-19. So what do we need to know about coronavirus? Coronavirus is a fairly new virus. It is a virus that is spread through droplets by a person sneezing or by a person coughing. And these droplets can land on surfaces. They also can land within the atmosphere. If you're standing close to someone and you're inhaling in the viral particles that are in the air, that virus can go into your respiratory tract and then infect you that way. Some of the signs and symptoms that you need to look for or be aware of for possible infection of COVID-19 are cough, fever, a fever greater than or 100.4 or greater than. You should start suspecting that something is going on, possibly viral, that you need to go and get a doctor's diagnosis to find out exactly what is going on. Sore throat, headaches, nausea and vomiting, muscle soreness, and then even in children, we are seeing multi-system inflammatory disease. There are three major categories of cases. So there are individuals who will present with mild cases of COVID-19. There are individuals who will present with moderate cases, and then there are some individuals that will present with severe cases. More milder cases are individuals who will get sick and then will go home, and then will be able to recover at home within a couple of weeks. More moderate cases are individuals who may have to go into the hospital to receive oxygen or other treatments. And then the severe cases are individuals who get admitted into the hospital, that end up on a ventilator, that are in the hospital for weeks to months, and then some even perish in the hospital. They don't make it out. And so what is important to know about the treatments for COVID-19 is that there isn't any, at this time, any proven treatments. I know that in the news and online, there are a lot of talk about the different medications. There's remdesivir, there's hydrochloroquine, and then there's even dexamethasone and some other medications. Right now, all of those medications that are out there aren't quite proven to treat COVID-19. At this time, we're still waiting for a vaccine, and many pharmaceutical companies are working on this vaccine. They're working to make sure the vaccine is safe and that they can provide the vaccine for individuals in the future. So I want to get into some of the risk factors that we should be looking for in terms of individuals who may be at higher risk of getting infected from COVID-19. So individuals who may fall into a severe category of cases of COVID-19 are individuals who are elderly, individuals who have pre-existing comorbid diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, renal disease, liver disease, or any individual who has any immunocompromised position where their body is fighting against themselves. So those are individuals, and then to back up, asthma and then COPD. Those are actually individuals who will fall into a severe risk if infected with COVID-19. So what can we do while we wait for a vaccine? Some of the things that we can do are simple: hand washing. You want to make sure that you're washing your hands as frequently as possible. You want to make sure that you're keeping your hands away from your face. And at any time you do not have access to soap and water to wash your hands, you're looking for or trying to use hand sanitizer. Using hand sanitizer frequently before you touch surfaces. After you've wiped your nose, or if you've sneezed or you've coughed, you want to make sure you're using hand sanitizer. You also want to make sure that we are practicing social distancing, which is allowing us to, maintain 6 feet apart. But also in conjunction with this, we want to also, promote and reinforce the use of facial masks, which is a very important tool in this whole pandemic thus far, is the wearing of a facial mask. To be clear on that, wearing a facial mask is going to, so if I put on my face mask, I'm protecting you. And when you wear your face mask, you're protecting me from what you have. So when we all wear our face masks together, we're protecting each other. We're decreasing the spread of COVID-19. So it's very, very important that you are going to wear your face mask, follow the rules, and just try to slow the spread of this deadly virus.
Thank you.
And so I just want to go back into a little bit more about testing. That's something that's very, very important.
Probably if you can wrap it up for us.
There are two types of testing. Yes, there are two types of testing. So there's the nasal swab, and then there is the blood test. The nasal swab is going to give us more definitive diagnosis of whether an individual has COVID-19 or not. The blood test is going to determine whether the individual has had a past infection of COVID-19. One thing I want to share is that the test can sometimes give a false negative when in fact an individual is positive. So if you're feeling really, really bad and you go and you get tested and it's negative, but you feel like there's something going on, maybe you should have a second test, because that may just be a false negative that you got, or an error that you got with that test. Thank you.
Thank you. We thank you very much for such a wonderful presentation. And hang on, there may be questions for you later on.
Yes.
We're gonna go straight into the next segment. And next year, next we're gonna be talking about real estate and wealth creation. Real estate and wealth creation. And you'll be amazed that all these things have to do with health. So we have two people lined up to handle this segment. He is an experienced financial professional with demonstrated leadership roles with logistics, residential construction, and supply chain management. Today, along with a wife, they've created Financial Group, which is cutting-edge financial service firm that specializes in helping leverage technology and financial market goals in this fast growing world. In addition, he gives back to the community by serving as VP for Ghanaian Professionals of North America. Now, this person's name is Anthony Amponsa. Anthony, can we see you around? Thank you very much. That is Anthony for you. Anthony, hang on a second. Let me introduce your co-panelist. This guy is the president of the Ghanaian Professionals of North America. He's the CEO of Green Save Real Estate and Consults. He's a licensed insurance and financial professional. He's a member of the Ghana National Council. I call him Presido. David Kwame Ziga. David, can we see you?
Yes, I'm right here. Thank you.
So, gentlemen, the ball is in your court.
Yeah, so we're gonna quickly share our screen. So if you can allow me share my screen. Okay, share screen. Can you, is it shared at your end?
I don't see it.
Okay.
Online.
All right.
Going to it though right now.
Is it coming? Can you see my screen?
No. Yeah, I see it now. Perfect.
Yes, you see now?
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, Mr. Moderator, can you see our screen now?
Presentation within 10 minutes, that would be great. Yeah, I can see you.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. Can everybody hear us well? Me and my partner, we present to you real estate and wealth creation. We are being represented by Ghanaian Professionals of North America. Ghanaian Professionals of North America, GPNA, main goal is professional development. Our main mission is to help mentor, educate, and provide networking and investment opportunity for Ghanaian professionals to succeed here in North America. We also coordinate with other professional organizations to positively impact the community here in North America, Ghana, and Africa as a whole. Again, my name is Davidson Kwame Ziga. I am the president of the Ghanaian Professionals of North America. I'm a managing broker and CEO of Green State Real Estate and Consult. I will now give the opportunity to my partner to introduce himself.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for allowing me the opportunity. Thank you so much, Trend TV, for giving us all the opportunity to be able to connect with the community at large, and also Ghana National Council for helping to put together such a wonderful program. My name is Anthony Ampansa, and I am currently the Vice President of Ghanaian Professionals of North America, and also the CEO of Freeport Financial Group, which is the financial services firm.
All right, let's jump right into it. Real estate and wealth creation. Today's program is about health and health and health. Health Expo. Do you know that our living environment and amount of wealth we build can contribute to our well-being? This is really, really, really critical. Let's break it down. Real estate or shelter. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of need, shelter is one of the most important needs. And also, we need to have enough wealth or money so we can be able to support ourselves, be able to take care of ourselves, to be able to live a healthy lifestyle. So, what is wealth? Wealth to me is making more, spending less, saving more, building a family legacy, helping the needy, and having free time to do what you love happily. Because if you are not happy at where you are or what you do, that can give you a depression. Doctors are here, they can explain that in detail. But let's look at coronavirus impact on housing market. Buyers who are optimistic whether or not to buy or not drop from 75% to 43%. That is huge. Buyers who are not optimistic at all, they are ready to go, went up 18% to what? 47%. Sellers who say, okay, because of coronavirus, they don't want to sell again. They don't want to allow people come into their houses because they will infect the house or whatever. And they take their houses off the market, went up 3% from 3% to 16%. So guess what? There are more buyers than sellers out there, which make it now a hot market and also a seller's market. The National Association of Realtors Chief Economist Lawrence Young called the coronavirus impact on real estate market a temporary softening and believing that it will come up. Why? Because when the coronavirus hits, the market shake and they reduce the interest rate. Due to that, more people want to get into their private single family home, and also investors took their money off the market and want to invest in real estate instead because it's a tangible asset. Now, let's look at some real estate strategies, right? But before we touch that, on the right side of my screen, you could see the rise in real estate market is going up since 2017 to now. It is still going up, considering Chicago and all the suburbs and all the prices. So what are some of the strategies to be able to build wealth through real estate? Home ownership. Before I touch on home ownership, there is one thing that I want to share. Even if you have to rent right now, it's not everybody that can own a house. If I always advise my clients, if you are not stable, you move from places to places, maybe 3 years, you have to move, then it's better to rent. But even if you rent, you can literally write off part of your rent payment in taxes. That extra money goes into your pocket and help you to build wealth. But let's look at home ownership. If you own a home, you will be able to get what? Tax exemption. It's right there. Huge advantage. But if you are renting, remember you are paying this for the homeowner and stuff like that. If you want to take advantage of home ownership tax exempt, then you have to be living in the house. One of the other way you can build a wealth is rental property. This is for investors, right? You buy rental properties. Rental properties will help you generate a passive income. Real estate investment trust is also another one. Crowdfunding, vacation rental, even renting part of your home, right? But considering all the safety guidance due to this coronavirus, if you have extra bedroom that you can rent out and still be safe, that extra bedroom that you are renting out can give you extra income. Remember, my definition of wealth is all about, making more, spending less, and saving more, right? You can do fixing and flipping and wholesaling as well. Now, creating wealth with real estate. One of the advantages is tax advantage, right? As a homeowner, as I mentioned, you get tax exempt. You can write off some of your payments in taxes, and also if you are landlord, you can also take advantage of extra tax advantages, right? That is deducting items such as interest, insurance, maintenance, your property management, and also depreciation over time. You can write all these things off. Also, cash flow, real estate. If you have real estate investment, you can use the income from the property to pay all the expenses and be able to be making an additional income. So I have a lot of investors, even besides their daily job, they invest in real estate and making additional income. Appreciation have to do with the right location. Real estate is all about location, location, location. So if you have the right location, you'll be able to have appreciation on your property. Leveraging the bank to buy property, and you can also take advantage of a 1031 tax exchange. According to billionaire Andrew, 90% of billionaires get their wealth by investing in real estate. Besides the real estate as a wealth creation, there are some other avenues out there. If you don't have the money right now to invest, or you don't have the right credit, we can even mentor you to get your credit up. But if you don't have the right savings to get into real estate, there are some other avenues that can help you to create wealth. And I'll pass it over to my partner Anthony that he will dive into that for you. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you so much, Davidson, for that. Let's get right to it. It's all about breaking the cycle of poverty, right, and shifting to wealth mindset, right? But one of the things that we see is that, although these financial institutions are there and can help us, we see that the agenda is very clear, right? They want our money, and they want our money on a regular basis. That's the reason why there's direct deposit and all those things. It's not for you, it's really for the banks and these institutions so that they can get our money much faster. And once they get our money, they want to hold on to our money for as long as possible. And most of you can relate, right? If you have 401ks and all these different programs, these institutions want to hold on to our money for as long as possible. And then when it comes time for us to get our money, they want to pay it back as slowly as possible. So think about it. They're holding on to your money for as long as possible, but when it's time for you to finally touch this money, they want to pay it back to you as slowly as possible, which is going to make it very, very difficult in order for you to build wealth. Okay. So what are the phases of wealth building? Let me talk to you about the 3 phases of wealth building. The first phase is the accumulation phase, right? This is when you're starting to grow the money, right? But these are some of the challenges that you face. Obviously, you're facing contribution limits, right? Think about it. Even today, even with the increase, the maximum you can contribute to your 401k is just shy of $20,000 a year. So if you're a high income earner or somebody that's very, very successful and you're looking to build a lot of wealth, you can imagine that using that vehicle is not going to help you. That's $20,000 a year, 19.5 to be exact, may be big for some people, but may not be enough if you're trying to achieve a certain level of target. And then obviously some of the other challenges you have is time, right? How to save enough early enough so that you allow time to work in your favor, right? Because this is money that you're building today to use in the future. But unfortunately, people don't have enough to save, and to save it diligently and allow time to help them. And it's also the rate of return. How much return are you getting on your money? If you're not getting enough, obviously you can't compound it. The second phase is what? Protection, right? It's one thing to start to contribute, to try to grow your money and everything. But if your money is not in a secure place, then it's all for naught, right? And that's why Davidson mentioned real estate, because that's one of the sure ways to at least know that you have something tangible. But with other services also, there are opportunities for you to still grow your money and have protections, right? How is your money growing? Is it in a fixed account? Is it in a variable account, like the stock market going up and down, where you can have a heart attack overnight because the market crashed or the president sent out a tweet or something? Or is it in something that is more of an index strategy, where you have more guarantees and you have market risk protections, right? Or are you properly diversified? Do you have your money in the right places? Most people get a job or something, they say there's a 401k benefit, they sign up, and sitting down across kitchen tables and talking to a lot of different people, we come to find out they have no clue what they signed up for. So understanding where your money is and how it's being protected is very, very key. And then the third phase of wealth building, right? You've accumulated, you've protected it, but the last phase is what? Distribution phase. And this is one of the most important phases, but unfortunately, most people don't even ask that question, right? Roll it over. When the distribution phase, the key things that you're looking for is what? Access, right? Access or roadblocks or penalties that people have that impact their ability to be able to generate wealth. Click it over for me again, Davidson. There's taxes, right? Taxes is the biggest killer. Roughly about a third of your income goes straight to servicing some type of tax. And if you don't have some of these things in place, guess what? You're not able to grow your money effectively. So a lot of times, most people have products or they're putting their money in places, not accounting for taxes, And after this corona, with the trillions of dollars that all countries have been borrowing all over the place, you can imagine the type of inflation and the type of tax issues that we may face, right? And then again, is there guarantees as I slowly wrap up, right? What's the sense of working all your life, saving and working hard, if the market crash when you're 65 and you're ready for retirement, right? So have you asked your financial professional, what are my guarantees that when I get to my retirement age, my money will be there, right? And then if you're able to do all of these and accumulate wealth, the best thing you can do then is what? Estate preservation, making sure that you can transfer that wealth to your next generation the proper way. So the question is your retirement guaranteed? And as I go to the last slide and wrap up, due to the interest of time, I hope that today all we're doing is just introducing concepts and introducing strategies that are out there that you can leverage. So how do you break all of that? You can break all that chain and that entanglement by becoming what? Your own bank. You know, would you like to learn how to set up a family bank? I'm not talking about your regular checking account or your regular savings account. But you can actually set up a family bank, which is safe. It's going to give you tax-free access to your cash. You don't have to worry about waiting till you're 59 and a half before you can touch your money. It's going to give you guarantees on your principal, and it's also going to give you guarantees on your growth. In fact, even with Corona, none of my customers have come back and said that they've lost any money. Why? Because there's guaranteed principal protection. You will never see a statement where your balance has gone down. And then for those that do other things in terms of social security benefits and financial aid and all those things, guess what? By having your family bank, you can protect yourself and still be able to get the best of those benefits. And then of most importance, liens, okay, and probate. And even in the cases of divorce, except for 2 states, actually, nobody can touch your family bank, okay? And then it allows you to be able to also pass whatever is in your family bank when you pass away to your heirs tax-free with very, very, very competitive growth track record. So with that, we're pretty much done. But we have our contacts here for Q&A. So let me pass it on to Davidson to wrap it up. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Oh, that's powerful. Again, this is just because of the time frame, we're just squeezing in everything. So please, if you have any question with respect to what GPNA is or GreenSafe as a company, how we help our client acquire real estate and build wealth, or how Freeport Financial Services and GreenSafe Consult help clients set up their family bank. These are our contact information. Please reach out to us. Thank you so much, Ghana National Council. We've always been privileged to partner with you, GPNA, partnering with Ghana National Council for this Health Expo. Thank you, all the moderators, and thank you, all the presenters. Any question is welcome. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I know people have questions, and as and when they come, we'll let you know, or subsequently, they will either send it to you or, whichever means that is made available to us. Thank you very much. We are going to continue with the program. For this session, we still have one more to go before we take questions and commercials. The next person that I have here is also a financial professional. He holds a master's degree from the University of Texas. There we go. He teaches and helps our community in the area of life insurance investment, credit repair, and how your college can get to school, and also issues to do with business funding. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Chris Toffey. Is it Chris Toffey? Chris, if I mention your name wrong, just let me know. This man is a walking encyclopedia when it comes to his area of expertise. Chris, over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. Yes, you got my name right. Yeah, we want to extend our appreciation to the great organizers for putting such a wonderful program together, and also our audience. Please, I'm going to share my screen. So if you can allow me to share my screen, please. Okay. Give me a second as I get my PowerPoint ready. Mr. Moderator, can you see my PowerPoint?
No,
You cannot.
there's no.
Okay, let me try it once again. Share screen. All right. Can you see it now?
Nope. Yep.
All right. You can see it now, right?
Yes. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, my name is Christophe. I'm the founder of Christophe Financial in Dallas, Texas, and we are specialized in investment opportunities, life insurance, and we also involved in credit, personal credit building, and credit repairing, including business credit as well, college funding for our children, and also if you need loans, personal loan, mortgage loan, or auto loan, we will be able to assist you. Then also life insurance, choosing the appropriate life insurance for you and your family. This evening, I'm going to share with you about life insurance. According to research, 7 out of 10 people in our community do not have life insurance. And the major problem is because of understanding. They don't know which one to choose, which one is the best for their family. And the 30% who have the life insurance, out of that 30%, 90% don't understand exactly what kind of life insurance they have or what the details of it. So I put this short presentation together to help our community to choose the appropriate life insurance that will help them and their family. I was actually in North Carolina 2 years ago, and a family invited me to their home to help them to access their life insurance because the wife had gotten a stroke. And the life insurance was handed to me. The policy was handed over to me. I looked through it. The stroke is one of the sickness coverage that most life insurance pay. But unfortunately, the woman paying the life insurance policy for years, but did not have sickness coverage included after many years paying that policy. And the main problem was he didn't understand what he was having. One of the sad things in life is, spending years to climb a ladder, and upon getting to the top of it, you realize that the ladder had been leaning against a wrong wall. So it's my hope that these 5 questions that I've put together that I'm going to go through over it will be an encouragement to help us to choose an appropriate life insurance for ourselves and that of our family. Basically, they are just the minimum questions that you want to ask anytime you sit down with an agent, and he should guide you to choose appropriate one. And it will prompt the agent to go further about the policy that he or she is trying to get you into. Life insurance, there are different types of life insurance, but it boils down to 3 major types: the term life insurance, whole life insurance, and universal life insurance. Again, there are a lot of different life insurance on the whole life and universal life, but they boil down to these 3 main categories. So when you sit down with an agent, the question you want to ask is how long or how many years will this policy last? When it comes to term life insurance, as the name implies, it is a term, temporarily. There are 3 types. You have 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years. When it comes to whole life insurance, it's permanent. Likewise, universal life insurance. Universal life and whole life insurance are both permanent life insurance, but there is a slight difference between the two. I will talk about it as I get to number 4 and number 5 of the questions that you need to ask. And the second question that you want to ask is the death benefit. You want to ask the agent, is the death benefit guaranteed? When I talk about death benefit, we are talking about the life insurance amount. Most companies will call it face value or face amount. So when it comes to term life, as the name implies, it's temporarily, so it's not guaranteed. It lasts as long as the term that you have bought, presuming you have kept consistent payment. Whole life insurance, yes, it gives you up to 120 years, likewise universal life. So because it gives you 120 years, we consider it to be permanent, since nobody lives to be over 120 years. The third minimum question that you want to ask, least question that you want to ask, is the sickness coverage. Does it have sickness coverage? When it comes to traditional term insurance, there is not. Recently, some companies have been trying to include some of the critical illness, but it costs extra money. Whole life insurance and universal insurance, most of the time, they come with sickness coverage. Now, let me talk a little about this sickness coverage. Most companies cover three major types. They are chronic illness, terminal illness, and critical illness. And some other companies will add injury to it, but injury most of the time is considered to be critical. Now, when they talk about chronic illness, basically in life insurance, chronic illness we consider unable to do two of the 6 essential activities in life. There are 6 essential activities in life, and anytime you are unable to do 2 of them, or you have to get medical assistance in order to do 2 of these 6 essential activities in life, it's considered to be chronic. They are: 1, if you are not able to see by yourself, if you are not able to hear by yourself, you have to get medical assistance in order to hear, in order to talk, in order to see. 4, in order to use the bathroom, you have to get medical assistance in order to use the bathroom, or you have to get medical assistance in order to eat or to walk around. So these 6 essential activities, anytime you are unable to do 2 of them in the insurance industry, is considered to be chronic. So you want to be mindful of that. Another thing that you want to ask yourself, number 4, is can I withdraw money from that? Can I withdraw money from it? When it comes to term life insurance, I'm sorry, you cannot withdraw any money from it because it is just your life that you are protecting. So there's nothing like money that you can withdraw from it. When it comes to whole life insurance, yes, but the money has to be like a loan. And when you take this loan, most companies will give you that opportunity not to pay. And when you don't pay it back, it affects the face value or the life insurance amount unless you pay it back. So when it comes to whole life insurance, the cash value can be accessed as a loan that you have to pay back. And if you don't pay it back, it does affect the life insurance amount. And because of that, people wanted to take their cash value without paying it back and without affecting the life insurance amount. So that led into universal life insurance. When it comes to universal life insurance, we have different types: variable life insurance, index variable life insurance, index universal life insurance, and others. Now, the good thing about the universal life insurance, it gives you 2 options in accessing of your money. You can take it as a loan, or you can take it as cash, just like you are withdrawing cash from your checking account. When you take it as cash, you don't pay it back. You don't pay it back because you have just pulled out your money as cash, and it does not affect the life insurance also. The life insurance will be fixed to the duration of that policy that you have gotten. And when you take it as a loan, some companies also give you the option to postpone the payment of the loan to the end of the policy. When you pass, excuse me to say, before they pay the final amount to their family, they will take out the loan that you took, then they pay the rest to the family. Or if you, in the event you want to cancel, they will just take out the loan that you took, then they will give the rest to you. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to universal life, especially index universal life, the loan portion is very, very important because if our speakers before me spoke about wealth creation, it is one of the great opportunity to create wealth in the sense that you can take the money that you have grown as a loan without paying that loan upfront. You can take it as a loan and your account will be debited, and at the end of your life, before they pay the final money or the life insurance amount to your family, they will take out whatever loan that you took, supposing you took it as loan and not cash. However, if you don't like that option and you want to take it out as a loan without having it to be taking it from the life insurance amount when they are paying it to the family, of course, you can take it as cash. All right, good. And the fifth question that you want to ask is the payment. Payment. Why is this so critical? This is so important because when it comes to term life insurance and also majority of whole life insurance, you want to pray that you don't miss a payment because the payment is fixed. It's just like paying auto loan. You shouldn't miss a payment. When you miss a payment, you have 30 days to catch up. And if not, after the 30 days, the grace period, the policy will elapse. I have met with families who have had term life insurance for 10 years, 15, I think it was 10 and a half years. And she missed a payment because she had to relocate and she didn't change address. And unfortunately, she lost the entire policy after the grace period. So you want to be mindful of that if you have a term life insurance. When it comes to universal life insurance, it is very flexible. You can, as a matter of fact, when it comes to the payment with the universal life insurance, you have three options. You can increase your contribution, especially if you want to use it as a wealth creation vehicle. You can put more money in, and any money that you put in goes straight into your investment portfolio. Or you can reduce the amount to the minimum that you can pay, or you can suspend the policy. When you suspend the policy, whatever cash that you have built up, the minimum will be put to pay the cost of the policy. So you don't have to worry about the policy being elapsed. You want to make sure that you have communicated that with your agent or with a company. Yeah, if you put it on suspense, and when things get better, you can come back and continue the payment. So during this COVID issue, some of our people who had or who got affected by the financial industry, some of them jumped in to cancel their life insurance. Those who had universal life, they didn't know that they could suspend it. So you want to make sure that you have had that conversation with your agent. It's very, very, very important because there are a lot of options that you can do. Now, let me speak a little about the IUL under universal life, since this program is more of wealth creation and health. The IUL, which is a type of universal life insurance, IUL is a type of universal life insurance. It's a great vehicle that can be used to create wealth. Why can that one use to create wealth? Basically, the investment portion built in it you can focus on it and maximize it and put in as much money as you want. Usually they give you a limit, but let's say, for example, if you get a life insurance, universal life IUL for about $200 a month, depending on your age or let's say your gender, you will be able to have a room up to say $500 or $1,000, depending on how the policy is written. So in the event you have extra money, not doing anything, you can dump it in and it will be used for investment, and you can withdraw it anytime that you want. There are a lot that can be said about life insurance. Unfortunately, our time is very limited, so I will end it here, but my number is at the bottom. So I encourage you, it's a 512-999-6724. 512-999-6724. I will be around. If you have any question, you can send a chat in the chat room. I will be looking at it, or you can send me a text message and I'll be more than happy to assist you in that area. Before I end, as I said earlier on in my presentation, we also do credit building and credit repairing. Credit is a big problem in our community. If you have issue with credit, or you have a business and you are looking for business credit or business loans, business capital to expand or grow your business, our team will be able to assist you. I will hand it over to our moderator.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you
for the wonderful work you just did. You've given us a lot of information, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to contact you and ask you questions. So far, okay. So somebody is asking you, Chris, quickly.
Sure.
What does it mean to sell your life insurance?
What does it
mean to sell your life insurance?
Oh, okay. Sure. So we have another.
It can be brief.
Okay, good. So to sell your life insurance, there is we have companies that we call them vertical. Yeah. So they, for example, you have you have been diagnosed with some sickness or diseases, and you don't have the money to pay for it, or in the event that you are not able to afford the premium, these vertical companies can buy your life insurance. Yeah, there are a lot that can be said, details of it. So I encourage the person who ask that question to contact me, and I'll be able to go further details on how the vertical thing works, how you can sell your life insurance.
All right, thank you very much. Empress, I don't know if you have any question to ask, but
no, I have no question to ask, but it looks like we are running out of time, so we'll take a little break, and then we'll head off to the next topic. So, Mr. Chris Toffee, thank you so much. We'll talk to you backstage.
Are you looking for photography service for your upcoming event? Is it a wedding, an engagement, or a special event? Look no further. Jojo Texan Images is here. Hire him today for great quality pictures, a quality service provided on the day, and a great personality. Jojo Texan Images is on social media. Follow him Instagram and Facebook at Jojo Texan Images, or call him 312-450-5235 and book your appointments today. Jojo Texan Images. Simply excellent. Book him now.
Hello again, everyone. I am Empress Mausi, your host, and we are here on the 2020 Virtual Community Health Wellness Expo. Yes, viewers, if you are joining us on Facebook, welcome. If you're joining us on YouTube too, thank you so much for joining us. Please subscribe. Right now, we are going to move on to the next topic, which is going to be hypertension, diabetes, and medication management by the beautiful Dr. Pearl Quarte. So, Dr. Pearl Quarte, she is a family medicine and preventative medicine specialist and currently the assistant director, family medicine residency, Deaconess Health in Evansville, Indianapolis. Or is it Indiana? Dr. Pearl Kumaple, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, beautiful. Thanks for joining us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. If you can just adjust your camera a little bit.
How is that?
Oh my God, now we can see you for real.
How are you?
I'm doing awesome. The platform is yours. Take over.
Thank you so much to the Ghana National Council, the GPNA, GPSF for holding this event. I think it's very good for our community. I am tasked to talk about diabetes and hypertension in 10 minutes, which is almost not possible, but I'll try and do my best. So basically, as we know, diabetes and hypertension together affect about 30% of the world's population. That's about, according to the World Health Organization. So these two diseases give a lot of disease burden to a lot of people throughout the world, both in high-income countries as well as in low-income countries. For the sake of time, I'm going to kind of talk about the management together because the basic concept of managing diabetes and hypertension is the same. The detail has to do with like the different medications. So what I always tell patients or individuals that are initially diagnosed with diabetes or hypertension is to have a primary care provider. It could be a physician, a nurse practitioner. I mean, there are different providers in different countries and how their countries are structured in providing primary care to to individuals. And I'm trying to talk a little bit globally because this is an international forum. So basically, you have to have a primary care provider that understands your situation and will be able to help you navigate the diseases. So at the core of managing diabetes and hypertension is lifestyle change. A small percentage of both hypertension and diabetes might be due to some genetic issues, family history issues, but the vast majority is due to lifestyle. So right now throughout the world, we're eating more than we're actually burning in terms of our calories. We're not as active as we used to be, maybe say 50 years ago, 100 years ago. We have sedentary lifestyles. We're driving more. We're not walking as much or being as active as much. And that is the core of the increased incidence of diabetes and hypertension. So at the core is changing lifestyle. And that has to do with being more active and eating healthy food. The issue with healthy food is complicated, right? Because now our foods are so highly processed. We're not eating as close to the earth as we used to. A lot of our foods we get in the grocery store might have been through 1 or 2 factories before they end up in a package on the grocery store shelf. And that is one of the things that contributes to us taking in excess calories because in order to be able to preserve the food in the packaging, it has to, they add preservatives, they add sugar, they add salt to increase the shelf life. And that's one of the reasons why we end up accumulating excess calories that results in obesity and weight gain and eventually diabetes and hypertension. So one of the first ways to tackle it is to address your lifestyle, the diet, and the next thing is being more active. So because our lifestyle is so sedentary, a lot of us, me included, have to make time available during our day to actually be active, to exercise, either by walking, using the treadmill, or doing weights. So this is something that we consciously have to include in our daily activities, because otherwise we get bogged down with our family activities, with working, with commuting back and forth, and working out gets put on the side burner because we get so busy. And I am very, very guilty of that as well. And that's why I personally always try to have that at the forefront of trying to be active and making sure that I'm at least in a week achieving 150 minutes of moderate to intense activity as recommended by the CDC. So the next part of managing diabetes and hypertension then has to do with engaging with the primary care provider and having access to the right medications that you need to treat your diabetes or hypertension. So I'm going to split it into the 2 different diseases for a few minutes here because the medications are a little different. So for diabetes, basically diabetes is an illness of excess sugar and insulin resistance. So insulin is a hormone that our body makes, the pancreas specifically makes insulin to help our body manage sugar. So sugar can be found in sugar. It's sweet, like the table sugar that we eat. And it also can be found in some complex carbohydrates in certain foods, such as rice and potatoes, yams, in vegetables, fruits. So carbohydrates are actually very ubiquitous, meaning they're found everywhere in all our diets in different forms. They can be sweet and sometimes they're not sweet, right? Like potatoes are not sweet, cassava is not sweet, plantain is not sweet, They're all carbohydrates, and when you eat them, they get digested in your body, and your body sees all of that as sugar. So that excess sugar has to be put away into our bodies because our blood cannot tolerate having so much sugar literally running in our bloodstream. So our body um, um, makes insulin, and insulin is what puts the sugar away. And the way the body puts the sugar away is by packing it away into our fat cells as well as our muscles. And that's where literally we gain weight, we get excess fat, because the fat cells which we have are actually by the time you're like an adolescent or a young adult, you have all the fat cells that you're going to have in your life. That's why it's important that children are prevented from getting big, because as you're growing, that's when your body gets programmed to make fat cells. And then these fat cells they just get bigger when you get older or you get heavier, because the fat gets deposited in it. So that's what insulin does. Insulin puts all that sugar away into our muscles and our fat cells in our liver, in our organs, and that's when we gain weight. And when you get to the point where the balance between the fat cells and the insulin gets imbalanced, then you become insulin resistant, and then you start becoming pre-diabetic and eventually diabetic. Hypertension is a little bit different. So hypertension also has to do with some weight gain, but hypertension, for the most part, has to do with the way our body handles salt, which is through the kidneys. Our bodies are designed to be able to get rid of excess salt and water through the kidneys. When we gain too much weight, some of that regulation gets imbalanced and becomes difficult for the body to do that. Genetically, some people are unable to excrete salt as much as we should. And that's why some people genetically, they're young, they might not be heavy, but might have hypertension. So that's when we get medications, and our doctor will help guide you which medication is appropriate for you. There's been a lot of research done about which medications is more appropriate for certain individuals of certain racial groups. So certain medications are more advantageous depending on your racial makeup in terms of addressing your hypertension. So I think my time is up now. If there are any questions, I will take questions now. If not, I'm gonna hand it over to our next speaker. I believe it's Dr. Eno, and she's gonna talk about hypertension and diabetes in pregnancy. Oh.
Dr. Pearl, beautiful smile there. Thank you for the information. Though you are going to be offline, I know you're watching and you'll be answering questions to the viewers. Thank you so much. So
thank
now
you.
we
Good
are
to
going
see
to
you.
give, thank you. We're going to give the platform to Dr. Eno Nyan. Dr. Eno Nyan is going to be talking to us about hypertension, diabetes in pregnancy. It's almost like what Dr. Pearl talked about, but now it's going to be related to pregnancy. Dr. Eno Nyan is an OB-GYN and holds special interest in preventative health, sexual health, infertility, vaginitis, adolescent health, contraception, integrative medicine, menopause, education health, disparities, and global health. Okay, so we can go on and on. She has all the qualifications, I know, but we are running out of time, so I can't keep mentioning all of it. So, Dr. Eno, if you are there, could you please join us? Thank you so. Oh my God! Look at that smile, people, and the dimples. Over to you, Dr. Eno.
Thank you for having me. Dr. Pearl is actually my big sister, so I'm really
nice.
Yeah, and the topic that I'm presenting on is actually really perfect as well. So I'm going to start talking about hypertension in pregnancy, and then I'll talk about diabetes in pregnancy as well. So you can have diabetes, you can have hypertension before pregnancy, or you can develop it during pregnancy. Currently, the guidelines say that if you have hypertension before 20 weeks of pregnancy, then it's considered that you had hypertension that existed before pregnancy. But if the hypertension develops after 20 weeks, then it's considered to be hypertension that developed because of the pregnancy. And typically that goes away by 6 weeks after you deliver, sometimes 12 weeks after you deliver. It's important to differentiate this because, you know, some people after we're done, you tell them that they've had hypertension and they don't even want to accept that fact. If you had the hypertension before 20 weeks, you're considered to have high blood pressure and you just need to take care of your health, just as Dr. Pearl talked about. Both types of high blood pressure in pregnancy and before, you know, the one you'd have before or during pregnancy can predispose you to an important condition called preeclampsia. People think of preeclampsia as when you have high blood pressure and you're spilling protein in your urine. But you can have high blood pressure and you can just have organ damage, like signs of organ damage, and that can be considered as preeclampsia. So if you're having really severe pressures, if you're showing signs of, you know, liver damage, elevated liver enzymes, if you're showing signs that your brain is affected, maybe your vision is affected, you can be considered to have preeclampsia, even if you don't have protein in your urine. If you have pre-existing high blood pressure, or if you had high blood pressure during pregnancy in a previous pregnancy, you can take a baby aspirin, and that baby aspirin can help to prevent the development of preeclampsia in the current pregnancy. Baby aspirin is about 81 milligrams of aspirin. So yes, it's safe to take aspirin in pregnancy, that dose of aspirin. As I mentioned, preeclampsia can lead to other complications. It can affect your liver, it can affect your blood, so your components, including your red blood cells, the platelets, which are parts of your blood that help it to clot, and other organs can be affected. It can cause fluid to build up in your lungs. It can cause, you know, later on, if it continues, can also cause seizures. If you get a severe form of preeclampsia, you can get a headache that doesn't go away when you take medications to make them go away. So Tylenol is typically the medication that we say that you can use in pregnancy. You can also develop blurry vision. So you're not really seeing as well. Maybe you have the headache, maybe you don't, but you know that you have blood pressure issue. Or you know that you're pregnant, especially towards the end, and you're getting blurry vision. That's something that might make you want to go see your doctor. If you're seeing spots in your vision, especially if they're black and they're not going away, that's something that makes you want to go see your doctor. And if you're getting abdominal pain, so especially if the pain is on your right side, or if it's in the middle top side of your abdomen, those are signs, especially if it's not going away. Sometimes the baby can kick there and that can give you the pain. That's not what I'm talking about. This one is you're just getting a pain here and it's not going. You need to look into that. Preeclampsia and blood pressure issues like this can also cause kidney damage, and they can cause your urine output, your urine to get really low, like you're just not urinating as much as you know you should be when you're pregnant. And so these are all things that you should definitely look into. People with preeclampsia or with blood pressure, gestational hypertension, can all develop eclampsia, which is when you get seizures. And eclampsia is very serious. Some people don't even wake up from that. And so it's when you get a seizure and you're pregnant. If that happens, you need immediate medical attention and the baby needs to be delivered. If you have preeclampsia, the thought is that delivering the baby is the cure. But of course, we want to try and do what's best for the baby. And so we'll try to get you as far along as we can that is safe for both mom and baby. So depending on if it's a mild form of the disease or if it's a severe form of the disease, that will determine when the doctor will deliver that baby. The best thing you can do if you have high blood pressure before pregnancy is to make sure that it's well controlled. You can control it, as Dr. Pearl had said, with diet, exercise, and sometimes with medication if those things are not working. If you have really good control, it tends to help the pregnancy overall. During the pregnancy, we will also work to help you to control the blood pressure. Sometimes you do everything you're supposed to, and it just doesn't cooperate with you. You may be asked to monitor your own blood pressures. If you have access to a blood pressure cuff, it is important to do as your healthcare provider asks you to do. When you're pregnant and you have any high blood pressure condition, we typically monitor the baby a lot more closely. So I can just speak from the American perspective, where we do more ultrasounds to monitor the baby's growth. And then we also monitor the baby's like fluid, movement, respirations, things like that, just to make sure that they are okay. There are certain medications that we typically take outside of pregnancy that are not safe to take in pregnancy, especially if you're about to conceive. So, early part of the pregnancy, but also just throughout. So one of them is very commonly known as lisinopril, and then losartan is another one. So there are some medications that are not appropriate in pregnancy, and when you are on any medications, you should consult your doctor or your midwife before you get pregnant, if possible, or as soon as you get pregnant. If you have high blood pressure during pregnancy, as I mentioned, we work very hard to keep it well controlled. But we don't want that pressure to be like your pressures to be way too low, because your body may be used to living at a higher pressure. So if we drop it too low, then the blood may not flow adequately to get to the baby, to give the baby the nutrients that that baby needs. And so don't be surprised if sometimes we keep your blood pressure around something like 140/90. It is not anything absurd. The severity of your blood pressure issue will determine when you get delivered. If it's very bad, you might have to be delivered early, which is why control is so important, because it can lead to having to deliver a baby prematurely, which can lead to problems of premature babies. If it's well controlled, we'll try to get you to full term, and that can be any time between 37 weeks and sometimes 39 weeks, depending. You're usually delivered by your due date if you have high blood pressure conditions in pregnancy. When you have these conditions, as I said, preeclampsia can develop, and it can change at any time. When we're trying to get you induced early, it's because we want to try and save you and the baby from developing any complications later on, because things can just change minute by minute. And so it's important to try and comply with the recommendations of your healthcare provider. I'm going to swing to talking about diabetes in pregnancy. Like high blood pressure, you can have it before pregnancy, or you can develop it during pregnancy because of the pregnancy. People with pre-existing diabetes may have had it for a long time. The longer they may have had it, the more damage it can cause to their bodies, right? So they can have different end organ damage, like damage to their eyes, damage to their kidneys, and so on. And if you have damage to your organs before you get pregnant, that increases the risk of that pregnancy. So you have to consult a doctor to make sure, is this really good for me to get pregnant? Because that could be a pregnancy that could end your life, or even, you may not be able to carry it as far along as you can, and it could end that baby's life as well. For sugar controls, for people who had diabetes before pregnancy, if your sugar is not well controlled, it can lead to the baby having malformations. So the most commonly affected organ with people who have really badly controlled blood sugar, so their A1C may be high, around 8 and so on, is the heart. So they can have different malformations of the heart. I cannot go into detail. That can really cause problems for the baby when they're born. Some babies don't even make it after being born, because when they're in your womb, they're being protected by you. You're supplying them all the blood. It's important to follow a good diet and to use the right medications to get that blood sugar under control. In pregnancy, we prefer to use metformin and insulin. It's also important to get your eye exam and keep up with your other health examinations. Gestational diabetes is diagnosed in pregnancy. We check it early in pregnancy if people had conditions that put them at risk for it, such as polycystic ovaries, obesity, a history of diabetes in a previous pregnancy, and a family history of diabetes. We usually we do a blood sugar test, a 1-hour test, and then if it's abnormal, we'll do a 3-hour test. If it is abnormal, we'll treat you as a diabetic. Diabetes in pregnancy can be controlled with diet or medications. If it's controlled with medications, you're considered more high risk than somebody who's diet controlled. You may have to be delivered early because of the diabetes. You have to keep up with your finger sticks, follow the diet, and also take the medications. It can be the difference between having a baby that's alive or dead. And it can be the difference between saving your own life. If you control your sugars well, if you don't control your sugars well, the baby can get too big, and you may be more likely to get a C-section. The baby could also get stuck in the birth canal. The baby, while stuck in the birth canal getting delivered, may develop broken bones and other brain damage. Again, like high blood pressure, people with diabetes and pregnancy can also have to be delivered early, and that can lead to problems of prematurity. If you had diabetes before pregnancy and it's really poorly controlled, or you had it for a long time, you can actually get a small baby. It's called growth restriction. So people don't usually typically understand, I have high sugars, how did this happen? But that can happen as well. Both of these conditions, as I mentioned, can lead to having to be delivered early. It's very important to get prenatal care throughout your pregnancy, not just at the end, so that you can manage these conditions. We can catch it and you can manage it if you have them. Thank you.
Looking gracefully beautiful whilst giving us that beautiful presentation. Thank you so much, Dr. Eno. Though you'll be logged off, please keep watching and answer the question from the viewers, okay? So now we're going to introduce Dr. Ofori, who is going to be talking to us about mental health. Mental health is a topic that a lot of people avoid because it's very difficult to accept that you have mental problems and it should be addressed. So now we are going to welcome the really good-looking Dr. Edward Ofori. He is the assistant professor of pharmaceutical sciences of Chicago State University. Pharmacist by training, research focuses on drug discovery for neuropsychiatric disorders, including schizophrenia, depression, and substance abuse. Dr. Ofori, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, and I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear you. Over to you.
All right, great. So let me try and share my screen. I'm going to make it really quick.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'm part of the Trend TV Africa, Trend Africa TV family. And today I'm going to be talking about a topic that is very important, titled The Brain Can Get Sick Too. So just like Mausi just alluded to, we are kind of uncomfortable talking about mental health, but then it's okay. The brain can get sick too. So if you look in this picture, the individuals in the pictures look very excited, and you can tell from their body language and the way they're smiling, right? A mental health refers to maintenance of a successful mental activity, which includes being able to have productive daily activities and maintaining a fulfilling relationship with others. Therefore, it becomes very imperative to check or to keep good relationships that actually affect your mental status. In addition, it encompasses your ability to adapt to change and be able to cope with stress as well. A lot of people are unable to cope with stress, changes in environment, and so forth, and all of that affects your mental health. Now, in this graphics, you're going to see the boy on the left looks very happy, the one in the middle looks sad, and the other girl on the right looks extremely angry. And these are all feelings and things that we feel and the way we act. And this is all controlled by our brain, right? We can be happy or sad. Sometimes we can be anxious. We can feel a lot of different emotions controlled by some part of our brain called amygdala. And all of that can happen to one individual, but then we can get out of it. Now, when this becomes long-standing and it affects our daily activities, then we kind of have some sort of a mental health disorder. Now, so mental health tends to occur when the neurons, like your brain contains these powerful neuronal connections, decide to fire in different, or when they're not supposed to fire. So that tends to affect the way we act. So that is kind of the CPU of our body, right? So the brain is one of the most complex organs in our body, and therefore it's very important to kind of keep it in a healthy condition.
Scientists have found so many abnormal brain chemistry, not limited to dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter, serotonin, glutamate, GABAergic receptors. All these powerful neurotransmitters control some of our activities that we engage in. For instance, people with schizophrenia tend to have too much dopaminergic activity and sometimes dysfunction in your glutamate control. People with depressions tend to have some low levels of serotonergic effects as well. So all these brain chemistry tends to influence the way we act and behave. And therefore, when something happens and they're not functioning the way they are supposed to, it tends to affect the way our mental status is. So what are the causes of mental illnesses? The exact cause of mental illnesses is very complicated, and in most cases, it's not known. But what we know for sure is that genetics, your genetic predispositions, and your environment plays a major role in how you're going to feel or whether you're going to have some sort of a major brain disorder. For instance, twins, if one of the twins gets schizophrenia, the other one stands about 50% chance of getting it. If your parents have some sort of a mental illness, there tends to be certain higher significant proportion percentage-wise that you're probably going to suffer from some sort of mental illness. So genetics plays a major role. There are several factors that researchers have tried to come up with different genes and things like that, but that is beyond the scope of this talk. But what we understand is that genetics play a major role when it comes to mental illness. Now, what are the common mental illnesses symptoms? It includes sleep disorders, confused thinking, changes in eating behavior. Some people eat a lot, others don't eat at all. Excessive fear, anxiety, especially in this era of COVID-19, we have a lot of anxiety issues. Alcohol or drug use, excessive anger, inability to cope with daily problems or stress, and in some cases, detachment from reality, as you can see in schizophrenia. Again, if you look at this list, you start diagnosing yourself or looking at that person and at your job that might be exhibiting some of these symptoms, but it's not your place to diagnose people with mental illness. I'll refer that to the individuals who have the knowledge and who are specialists, such as the psychiatrists and the psychologists, to do that. And again, some of these, in order to identify that someone has this illness, it's usually guided by what we call the DSM-5, and that kind of guides the practice of psychiatry as well. What are the common mental illnesses? Of course, anxiety is on the top list. Like I mentioned, in COVID-19, we're having a lot of anxiety. Even with this political era, a lot of people experience a lot of anxiety, and people deal with it differently, right? So some people genetically can deal with it, other people can cope with it, and therefore mental illness plays a major role in our life as well. You cannot have a healthy life without mental health. Autism has a major component of kids suffering from that. Bipolar disorders, depression, post-traumatic stress, schizophrenia, and substance use are all kind of common illnesses that we see. OCD, of course, some of us do have that as well. So the question is, do we even have treatment for these diseases? Yes, we do have medicines that can actually manage your symptoms. In major mental illnesses such as schizophrenia, it's kind of difficult to kind of eradicate it or completely cure the disease. You can actually manage some of the symptoms using medications, right? You can also have psychotherapy where you have all these behavioral kind of changes that the person has to do in order to correct some of these illnesses. In some cases, you have acupuncture of the scalp, and you can also put electrical impulses on the brain to correct some diseases. So, of course, there are some treatments that are available. Seek help. Let's stop the stigma. Mental illness is real. A lot of people that suffer from it in silo and eventually commit suicide. So the suicide rate has gone up a lot, especially under this current situation that we find ourselves locked down. And therefore, based on that, I would say that let's stop the stigma. Mental illness is real. And then I'll pause for any questions. Thank you very much for this platform.
Thank you, Dr. Ofori. Thank you so much, Dr. Ofori. Though you will be logging off, I hope you can stay on and answer questions from our viewers. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So we are going to take a commercial break, very short commercial break, and then we'll continue with the Health Expo. But we are running out of time, so we are going to be very fast with the commercial, and we'll be right back. Don't touch that dial, guys. We'll be right back. Check out this beautifully made artistry of coffee tables made from a combination of recycled tires, jute ropes, wood, and fabric to suit your style. Yes, we make to order. These coffee tables can help you make a statement in your bedrooms, offices, and living rooms. But remember, we only ship within the USA and Canada after shipping cost is paid. Call Jasper Designs on 1-306-203-2650 or email us at doduyayra@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at Jasper Love or follow Pearl Yara Agboka on Facebook. Don't be left out. Please place your orders now. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. Is my moderator there? Mr. Kakape, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I guess we're going to continue with the show. What do you think so far?
Yeah, so far so good.
Are you taking notes?
Excellent delivery. I'm taking notes. Unfortunately, time will not permit me to make a lot of comments, but excellent delivery. And I'm impressed with the team of people we've assembled. Thank you very much. I think at this point, we're still going to continue because we are pressed with the time, and we're going to back up the next set of people coming that if you can, abridge your time a little bit for us, that would be great. Thank you. So we are going to go next, and we're going to talk about travel medicine and the travel protocols to Ghana. And we're going to have here a person who is a family practitioner, have been to Ghana several times. She is also a health and wellness coordinator. She's the business manager of the Ghana National Council, clinically trained in family medicine, qualified to diagnose and treat mild to complex health conditions of the mind and body. Her emphasis is on wellness, prevention medicine, and evidence-based comprehensive health for the uninsured and underinsured. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Eunice Cromwell, the one and only. Thank you, Eunice. Over to you.
Thank you. Very grateful to be on this platform. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. Okay, is the screen showing?
Yes.
Yes. Great. Okay, so once again, my name is Eunice Cromwell. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and I'll be talking about travel medicine. Travel medicine is research that focuses on people who are going to be traveling ahead of time. Also, we look into the different cultures and the people that you'll be visiting. And then also we take care of you when you come back from wherever that you've traveled to. Let me just put it out there that since this is a program organized by the Ghana National Council, I will be focusing more on the travel to West Africa, primarily Ghana. So let it be known that we are still in a level 3, avoiding non-essential travel to Ghana, even though the borders are open. So the CDC recommends that travelers who don't really have anything to do in Ghana, they still kind of wait a little bit. Also, we are at a level 2, practice enhanced precautions. There was some polio that was noted in Africa last September 30th. So because there's polio outbreaks in Africa, the CDC recommends that all travelers going to these countries are fully vaccinated against polio. I will mention just a few vaccinations. We do have someone who's going to be talking to us more in depth about vaccinations, but I wanted to kind of break down the ones that you need to be able to travel to West Africa, primarily Ghana. So hepatitis A is the first one. Hep A is something that is transmitted from person to person. It's fecal oral transmission. So that would mean that someone who is serving food that maybe has went to the washroom and has not washed their hands. So CDC is recommending that if you're traveling and you're going to be eating street food, you need to be able to get this vaccination. Typhoid fever is also related to the consumption of water, food that may have feces in it. The thing about typhoid fever is that it can be transmitted by someone who is acutely affected or a chronic asymptomatic carrier. When I say asymptomatic, I mean someone who has no symptoms at all. Therefore, CDC is recommending that people who are going to be going to small villages and rural area, again, people who want to be able to eat street food. If you go to Ghana, you know, there's a lot of food everywhere. So if you want to be able to enjoy the whole experience, please make sure you get your typhoid fever. Hepatitis B, excuse me, is something that is sexually transmitted or transmitted through body fluids. So they do recommend that all unvaccinated travelers who are going to Ghana go ahead and get the Hep B. And Hep B comes in 3 series. Many healthcare workers already have it. Yellow fever is something that is transmitted through mosquitoes. And as a matter of fact, it is required in order for you to get into Ghana to have a yellow fever card. You must have that, and that's for travelers that are above 9 months. Malaria, we are all familiar with malaria. Now, with malaria, there's no vaccination against malaria. However, you will need to take anti-malaria medication. There's many of them. Some of them you take once a week. Some of them you take for a couple of days before you travel, and then you take them also when you come back. Please note that there is a high incidence of risk of malaria in Ghana, so it is imperative when you're coming from here, you always get your malaria medication. Also note that it's only infected by a female mosquito, but since we can't see a mosquito and know if it's male or female, it's imperative that we protect ourselves. As I mentioned earlier, polio was last noted in September. It's also through fecal oral routes, meaning that someone probably didn't wash their hands well, it's contaminated with food or water. So there is a single lifetime booster that is given that you can get prior to you going. All these vaccinations are including all your regular vaccinations. So when you're traveling, you know, you want to have a good time, but we need to think about eating and drinking and being safe. Prevention is better than cure. So you want to avoid food that's at room temperature. Make sure when your food is coming out, you can see the steam in it. Avoid raw food, including raw vegetables, unless you are the one who has properly washed them with vinegar or you have seen them be washed. Also, you want to drink beverages from sealed bottles or cans. Water is technically safe if it has been boiled or chemically treated. That would mean your bottled water, or if you just boil the water yourself and you see that it's being boiled. When you go out somewhere, you want to really avoid the ice, right? Because you don't know what kind of water they've used to make the ice. So if you're a person who likes ice, it's better that you take your own ice container and you make your ice out of bottled water. Also, you need to consider antibiotics for self-treatment of something called traveler's diarrhea, which the recommendation, I believe, is Cipro for 10 days. You want to prevent bug bites. Cover exposed skin. It's hot in Ghana, but you can still wear a long sleeve that's very light. Use insect repellents. Make sure that you're sleeping in an air-conditioned or screened room. Use a bed net if you're sleeping in somewhere that's going to be exposed to outdoor. Also, you need to avoid sharing body fluids. This is something that I always speak to my patients of. Sometimes when people travel, you know, you get excited and you meet people, but we need to all be responsible. So we know there's an increased risk of all type of diseases that are associated with the exchange of saliva, blood, vomit, semen, urine, and feces. So you just want to be careful. Tattoos and piercings should only be done when you travel if you see that the packaging is new and it's sterilized. Same thing if you're going to have any medical procedure done or any dental procedure done. There are some documents that you do need when you're traveling. You need to carry your health insurance documents. Some people purchase supplemental health insurance that is international, so make sure you carry that. Also, you need to always make sure that you take proof of your yellow fever vaccination. There's a yellow card that they give you that can go into your passport. If you are carrying prescription medications, it is imperative that you carry it in the original bottle. Carry your glasses prescription, your contacts, contact solution, and any other medical supplies that you think that you're going to need. Offhand, you need to carry a card with your healthcare provider, your lodging destination area. Do some research before you travel and find out where the nearby hospitals and clinics are, and also find out where the U.S. Embassy or consulate is in your area. Some few things that I always tell people to carry when you are traveling is an antacid, which helps with the acid in your stomach, diarrhea medication in the event that you were to get traveling diarrhea, which is like your Imodium or Pepto-Bismol, antihistamine in case you have an allergic reaction, motion sickness. Sometimes people get motion sickness from being on boats or being on planes. cough drops, cough suppressants, which is like your Robitussin, a decongestant in case that your nose gets stuffy, medication for pain, which could be Tylenol or ibuprofen, a mild laxative in the event that you were to get constipated, a mild sedative in the event that you're getting used to the different time zone, and of course, something to open up your nose in case you get stuffy. There are some key points to note that when you are traveling to Ghana, note that the borders did open on September 1st. However, the country's land and sea borders still remain closed till further notice. So when you do travel to Ghana, you are required to have a negative COVID-19 test within 72 hours of departure from wherever you traveled from. However, when you get there, you are required to take a mandatory COVID-19 test at $150 to be paid by you. If you are positive, then they will take you through the further actions for treatments and assessments. But the good thing is that if you were to travel to Ghana and you know you're going to be back within a week, they don't require for you to bring one from outside, but you do still need to do one at the airport for $150. If you look at the chart, it just shows the different areas in Ghana and how the COVID-19 confirmed cases are. So if you can see, of course, the greater Accra region has more than any other region in Ghana at this time. For more information, always visit the CDC website or the Ministry of Information in Ghana. I appreciate your time and thank you. Safe and healthy travels. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a wonderful presentation. And I think a lot of people they want more. So we may have to find a way of sharing the information so they can have more of that. People are having an insatiable appetite of what you just said. Maybe a lot of them are planning to go. I have somebody here pricking me. This. Is it not scary? No, it's not scary. You can go. So thank you very much. Next, we're going to have preventive medicine, immunization in adults. Okay, so we have Dr. Baba Forsen. Dr. Baba is a nurse practitioner with the area of expertise for nursing, including oncology. Good. Oncology and telemetry. For those of us that were not born here, permit us when we pronounce certain words. As an NP, as a nursing practitioner, she has practiced in infectious disease, example, HIV, hepatitis B and C, travel medicine, and geriatrics. Her passion in health promotion and disease prevention, volunteering, and mission work is unmatched. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Baba Forsen. Doctor, you're welcome, and over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the warm introduction. And I am so sorry. I had technical problems, so I'm not able to share my slides with you. So I will just be talking. And as mentioned by Eunice before, prevention is always better than cure. And that cannot be stressed enough, because when you have good health, by practicing preventive medicine, in your older age, you don't pay a lot for curing diseases that could have been prevented. So with that much ado, prevention basically aims at reducing health risks and threats. And there are three main levels of preventive medicine. Primary, which seeks to avoid disease or prevent disease and injury. And that can, like giving immunizations, vaccinations, sometimes even using policies and laws to enforce some, practices like wearing your seatbelt, wearing your helmets when you're bicycling, and all of that. Secondary prevention aims to reduce the impact of disease by looking for disease at its early stages. And that is through procedures like colonoscopy, mammographies for breast cancer screening. Those are all secondary. There is also a third level, which is the tertiary, which I will not go into because it's beyond this presentation. So I will start with vaccinations, which is primary prevention. As we all know, during the flu season, there's a big buzz about getting your flu vaccine, and that is very important. Especially the older you are, the more at risk for complications of flu. So it's very important that you get your flu vaccine, and it's just one dose per season. The next vaccination that is important for us, especially as Ghanaians, is the hepatitis A and B vaccines. Hepatitis A is a viral infection that affects the liver and destroys the liver. For hepatitis A, it's self-curing disease, so that there is no medicine to treat it, but you treat the symptoms. But you can prevent getting hepatitis A by getting the hepatitis A vaccine. It comes in 2 doses, and you get the sequence. It comes in sequence, and I'm not going to go into the details of how those are given. The next vaccine is hepatitis B vaccine, and it's recommended for adults who want to be vaccinated, and also those who are at risk for certain diseases and have some comorbid conditions like diabetes, COPD, those on dialysis. It's recommended for them to get those to prevent getting hepatitis B. Hepatitis B is one that can also, if it does not self-cure, but stays in your system, in your liver, it can eventually progress to liver disease and liver cancer. So it's very important that you get your hepatitis B vaccine. And that hepatitis B can be, you can get it through sexual intercourse. You can also get it by sharing body fluids, especially blood fluids, using toothbrushes. That is the least way of getting it. It's mostly gotten through sexual intercourse, unprotected sexual intercourse, and indiscriminate sexual intercourse. And that also comes in 2 or 3 doses. There is another vaccine, actually the hepatitis A and B comes as a combination vaccine. It comes as A and B combined, and that is a twin Rix. And you can get that also in sequence. And I believe you get that as a 3 dose series. The next vaccine is the pneumonia vaccine. Pneumonia vaccine comes in 2. For those adults older than 65, it's recommended for 1 dose, and it's a lifetime protection. However, with some older adults with certain diseases like diabetes, again, COPD, those who have some kind of immune compromised system, they recommend that you get what you call the Prevnar. The Prevnar protects you against 13 different types of pneumonia bacteria, the bacteria that causes pneumonia, the pneumococcal bacteria. For those who are over 65 and get the Pneumovax, that protects you for 23 different types of subtypes of pneumococcal bacteria. So not everybody is to get the Prevnar, which protects against 13, but for those adults over 65, it is recommended that you get the pneumococcal vaccine. And so when you get both of them, you get a much broader coverage from the pneumonia vaccine. And that is also 1 dose. In case you get the pneumonia vaccine before age 65, then after 5 years, you get a booster dose of the pneumonia vaccine. So some people do get 2, 3, or 1, depending on when you get it and your health history. The next vaccine that is really important is the tetanus vaccine, the Tdap. Not so much as for the tetanus, but what is important with the Tdap is that there is a resurgence of the diphtheria and the pertussis, more so of the pertussis. Years back, it was not really worrisome or bothersome for, revaccinating people with patients with the Tdap. However, I think beginning in 2012, there was a resurgence, and there was over, if I'm not mistaken, over 40,000 people in the US had the pertussis. So then it became a recommendation from CDC for older adults to get the Tdap vaccination as well. That is given every 10 years, not yearly, it is 10 years. The shingle vaccine is the next vaccine that is very important for older adults over 50. I'm not older adults, but adults over 50 years of age. It is recommended that you get the shingle vaccine. It comes in 2 doses and is given the first month, and then it's given, I believe it's 2 to 3 months afterwards. You get the second dose of the Shingrix. The Shingrix is not a live vaccine, and it gives about 90 plus percent of coverage against the shingles. The shingles, if you've had chicken pox before, as a childhood, the virus does not leave your system. Rather, it stays in certain areas of your nervous system. And then as you age or as you get a disease and become immunocompromised, the virus resurfaces and gives you shingles. Shingles in itself will not kill you, but sometimes it leaves long-lasting, and sometimes it does not even go away, pain called neuropathy. And that is a very difficult pain to treat. So in getting the shingle vaccine, you lower your chances of one getting shingles and also the occurrence of the neuropathy from having shingles. The third, now moving on, I think I have covered most or all of the vaccines that are currently recommended for older adults. Now I'm going to go into recommendations for health screening. The first one is colonoscopy. Colonoscopy is advised and recommended for adults 50 years and over. And it is repeated every 10 years until you turn age 75. Then it is no longer a screening colonoscopy anymore. You only get a colonoscopy if it becomes a diagnostic. That means you have a problem and they want to investigate what is going on. Now, for those people who have family history of colon cancer or are at more risk of getting colon cancer, the age to start is a bit sooner. It starts at 45. Then again, it all depends on you and your health history. Your doctor can recommend, based on your health history, to do a screening colonoscopy sooner if it is warranted. Aside from colonoscopy, another way to treat or to screen for colon cancer is the sigmoidoscopy. The colonoscopy looks throughout the whole colon, but the sigmoidoscopy only looks at a portion of the large intestine, just the beginning portion of it, but not the entire. But during a sigmoidoscopy, if there is a problem, your practitioner might opt to do a whole colonoscopy. So for sigmoidoscopy, that is repeated every 5 years. The other method of colon cancer screening is the FIT DNA, or what people usually call the Cologuard. It is not a gold standard. It is not the best, but it is okay to do it. as some people may not be able to do colonoscopy because of their health history, or maybe a preference of not just wanting to do a colonoscopy, that is also a viable choice. However, if you do a Cologuard and there is an abnormality, you have to end up doing a colonoscopy anyway. And that is repeated once every 3 years if everything is okay. Now, the next test for screening colon cancer is a fecal occult blood. This is just taking a sample of your stool or your feces and sending it into the lab to be tested. And if it's negative, does not mean that you do not have colon cancer or you do not have polyps or any problems going on. It is just what it is. It is looking for blood in your stool. If there's blood in your stool, it could mean so many different things. It could mean you have hemorrhoids. It could mean probably have a fissure. It could mean that you have a bleeding polyp. It could mean you have a precancerous polyp, or it could mean you have cancer. You do not know. So it is a test, but I don't usually recommend it unless I have to. The gold standard for colon cancer screening is always the colonoscopy. And I always tell my patients, one of the reasons why I like the colonoscopy as to all of the other tests is with the colonoscopy, if your doctor goes in or your practitioner goes in, they see precancerous polyps, they can remove all of that, treat it, and then you are okay. You go for follow-ups depending on the severity or what was seen during the procedure. So colonoscopy is the gold standard. The next screening test is the breast cancer screening for women. It is recommended women between the ages of 50 to 74. Women under 50 years old is not recommended, but does not mean that it should not be done. It is done depending, once again, on you and your doctor and your health history and your family history. But for the average risk person, it is recommended for 50 to 74. After 74, it is no longer recommended for screening, but for diagnostic if there is a problem. For women between the ages of over 65, that is postmenopausal, it is also recommended for a DEXA scan to be done to screen for osteoporosis or osteopenia. Osteoporosis puts a woman at risk for fractures when they fall. So it makes your bone soft or brittle. And sometimes you do not even have to fall. It could be any pressure on a weakened bone and there is a fracture. It is actually not only done on women, it can also be done on men, but dependent on their health history once again. If they've had certain types of treatment or certain diseases that puts them at risk for soft or weakened bones, that is also recommended that they can have it done. The next screening is cervical cancer for women. It is recommended that women between the ages of 21 to 64 should have cervical cancer screening for cervical cancer and HPV. HPV is the virus that causes cervical cancer. There are different types. There are high-risk types and low-risk types. So when you do the cervical cancer screening, dependent on your health history, they check for HPV infection and also precancerous lesions in the cervix.
Okay. We still have some more?
Yes, I have just 2 more to go and I'll be done. Okay. And then for lung cancer, men and women who smoke and have had smoked at least 1 pack of cigarette for about 25 years, it's recommended that at the age of 55 to 80, they get every year a low-dose CT scan to check for lung cancer. Then for aortic aneurysm, which is a weakened aorta, or the biggest artery in your body. For men who have also smoked at the age of 65 and 75, they do get a one-time ultrasound to screen for aortic aneurysm. I think time is not on my side. There are other screenings. I think I'm just going to end here because I think my time is up. All right. And I thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Dr. Baba Forsen, Mr. Kakape,
Yes.
do you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Forsen, for such a wonderful presentation.
You are welcome.
Thank you. I'm sure a lot of people are going to get in touch.
You
So,
are.
very good. So next we have preventive medicine, immunization, and pediatrics. Very important. My elder brother is a pediatrician, so issues like this I pay close attention to because we're all going to get into something to do with. So I am presenting to you somebody who is also a family nurse practitioner specializing in family medicine. I'm currently working with a not-for-profit community health center providing preventive and primary health care to the uninsured and underinsured. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jesse Joyce King Nabi. Jesse, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. And I'm glad to be here, and I would like to thank the organizers for putting up such a laudable job for us to educate others and also for us to learn ourselves as well. Just as the moderator said, I'm going to be talking about our special population, the pediatrics. And even though it's an international audience, most of the things that I'm going to be talking about is pertain to the US. But with time, I'm going to, make sure that I compress it and make it short and sweet. But I will go through the stages that are needed most for our young population. So I'll start with the newborn. Newborns, most times, right after discharge from the hospital, they're supposed to follow up with the pediatrician in 3 to 5 days. And at that time, what we look for is how the baby is feeding, and also we look for signs of jaundice. So most times, the blood work that needed repeated at that time normally is bilirubin to rule out jaundice. Then the newborn is brought again to the doctor's office to check for weight, because after birth most children lose some water weight, and then we check to make sure if they are eating and gaining weight as they should. Then they come back again at 1 month, and that is also a well visit that we check for their well-being. And at the second month, that's 2 months, that's when we start vaccination. If the baby did not get the Hep C at the hospital, that will be given at 1 month visit. But if they got it at the hospital, then the second dose is given at the second month. So we give that, and that's when we start all other vaccinations that are needed. So at 2 months well visit, the child will get normally we give them 4 vaccines. The breakdown comes to 6, but 3 of the vaccinations are a combo, and that is the DTaP, polio, Hep B, and we give them active as well, pneumonia vaccine, and then the rotavirus. So even though it's 6 and in combination, they get 4 because 3 of them is combo. Then we move on to 4 months well child visit, and at the 4 months visit, they get a second dose of the DTaP, the polio again, hip, pneumonia, and rotavirus. And it's very important that we take this precious ones to this visit, because when they go consistently, the vaccinations follow an order, so they don't have to get more at one visit. So it's very important that as parents we take note of that. Then we move to 6 month visit, and 6 month visit as well, they will get 3 vaccines. And if you are living in the US, you get 2 vaccines. US, that's when the child gets the first dose of flu vaccine. And then before they turn 1, they get the flu vaccine. They get twice. They get it twice. They will do the first one at 6 months, and then the second dose a month after that. Then moving forward, it's going to be yearly. Then we move to 9 months, and 9 months, most times we don't give vaccinations. If the child has been consistently taken to the World Child visit, then they will not need vaccination at 9 months. So normally 9 months is more for catch-up vaccinations, and we also at that time screen for we do developmental screening to see how well the child is being developed, and also we check H&H to rule out anemia, because most times anemia is common at that age. Then we move on to 12 months. At the 12-month well visit, that's when the child gets the first MMR. MMR is measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, and they also get the chickenpox vaccine as well. And then Hep A, that's the first Hep A vaccine that they get. And then if you are in the US, we screen them for an exposure to tuberculosis. So we do the first TB screen check. We also check for CBC as well, and also lead if you are living in the United States. Then we move on to 12 months well visit. At the 12-month well visit, the child gets another dose of DTaP, hip, and also pneumonia vaccine as well. Then we jump to 18 months. At 18 months, we do the MCHAT screening. MCHAT screening is what is done to diagnose autism. And autism is something that US wanted in the world. I'm not so sure about Ghana, but I know that US ran third in the world, and one out of every 54 child has autism. So we screen for that at age 18 to 24 months, and if there is any cause for concern, then the child is referred to the appropriate specialist. And they also get a second dose of their Hep A vaccine. And then we move to 24 months. And 24 months is also used for catch up vaccinations, and also we check for CBC, and we check for lead, and also we start screening for BMI as well. And then we move on to, after that, we move on to a yearly visit. So between 4 and 6, they will get a second dose of their MMR and the varicella as well, which is for chickenpox, and that is the combination vaccine. So they get one, and then they get a DTaP and polio, and also we screen again for PPD. Then it's yearly, and most times between that time is all is catch up, and we do blood work to rule out any anemia, and with other kids we also screen for any other disease that needs to be taken care of. And then we also do we also check for the BMI moving forward from that end, because we all know that obesity is one of the prevailing problems that we have in the US and the world in general as well. So with the BMI, through that, those that are at risk are able to be referred as soon as possible. In the US, referral is made to the dietitian to follow up with them. And we also check for lipids as well, because cholesterol and diabetes, which in the past was prevalent in the older population, we are seeing it more and more in the younger population as well. Type 2 diabetes in younger children as well. So we do lab works to check that, and manage it as soon as possible. Then at 11 years old, they get another dose of Tdap, which is boosters, and the first dose of meningococcal vaccine, which is very important. And also they get their first HPV vaccine, which is to prevent human papilloma virus when kids start become sexually active. And then after 11 years, it's yearly visit, and most times we don't do vaccinations unless it's a catch-up vaccination, but we'll do blood work as well to monitor for all that. And then at the age of 16, they get their second dose of meningococcal vaccine, and depending on the risk, another meningococcal B vaccine will be given as well. And then after that is the yearly visit to check for blood work. We also do. I want to go over a few things as well for that population. We also do depression screen from age 12 and above, because we know that depression is not pertaining to only the adult population, because most kids go through a lot of situations that put them at risk. So we start, we do the screen to rule out any early stages of depression, and preventive, we all know, is better than cure. So when these problems are caught earlier on in life, the children have a better outcome with treatment. And also we check for STDs as well from age 15 and above, and depending on the risks of the child as well. So those are the personal things that we do through newborn through 18 years of age. So I will bring my presentation to an end, and I would like to thank you all once again for the audience for listening as well. Thank you very much for having me here.
Excellent.
Nabi, Kakape, over to you.
Thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much for such a wonderful presentation. I think at this moment, Empress, you should come in and tell us something, and then we move on to the next stage. But Madam Jessie, thank you very much.
Yeah, so we are going to take a little commercial break, very short one, and then we'll come back. We are about rounding up because I know we all have to go watch the presidential debate, so we'll try and round up very quickly so that we can go and watch
Right.
what's going on. So don't touch that. I will be right back.
Let's join the witty and blunt Empress Mausi on the Mausi Talk Show as she sits with legends, trailblazers, social media celebrities, musicians, and many, many more this and every Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time on Trend Africa TV. It is going to be fun-packed. You don't want to miss this. Trend Africa TV, redefining Africa.
Hello, everyone. Again, without much ado, we are going to go straight to Dr. Boachi. Dr. Boachi is going to be talking to us about chronic kidney disease and hepatitis B. So, a little bio about Dr. Boachi. Dr. Boachi Kwabina Boachi. My accent was going to come out, but I stopped it. He's a primary care physician for 4 years, then transitioned to emergency medicine in 2016. He currently works at Burke Medical Center in Waynesboro, Georgia, and is the co-founder of City Medical Office, located in the Bronx, New York, U.S. In the U.S. Army. He has served as the medical director for the Medic Training Program and unit ministry team leader. Currently, he serves as the brigade surgeon for the 333rd Military Police and the senior medical officer for the Joint Warfighter Clinic at the South Command. Dr. Kwabena Boachi, are you there? I think you are muted.
Yes, I think I'm on now. How are you?
Thank you so much.
Good, good. Thank
All
you.
right, over to you.
All right. So thanks for the talk again tonight. And these two topics are very dear to my heart. So I'm going to start with hepatitis B, and then we move on to chronic kidney disease. So I'll do a brief overview, and then if there's time for questions, we can do that. So basically, hepatitis B virus is one of the many viruses that can affect the liver. It will cause inflammation of the liver. So it could be acute, which can last less than 6 months, or it could be chronic, that can last greater than 6 months. Most adults tend to recover very quickly or fully if they get infected, and the chance of moving from acute to chronic at an adult age is a little bit lower. But if somebody gets it as a child, then their chances of going to chronic disease goes higher. So sometimes if you get it as a child, you might not have any symptoms, but some of the symptoms that can happen include abdominal pain, dark urine, fever, joint pain, nausea, and vomiting. So there are many causes of hepatitis B infection. So some of the most frequent causes will include sexual contact with somebody who has it through unprotected sex. So those also who do so basically anything that will cause an exchange of body fluids to include saliva, blood, semen, and vaginal secretions. So sexual contact with somebody who has the disease but not treated. For those who do drugs, sharing needles is also another issue. Healthcare issue. Major Hargrove has it. Sorry about that. So those who work in healthcare, so getting an accidental needle stick is also an issue. And mainly in Africa, one of our biggest issues is mother to child transfer. So basically a mother can pass it on to the child during childbirth. Like I said, acute infection can last a few months, but then sometimes it can progress um, to chronic infections. So as we said, the risk factors include sharing needles, multiple sex partners who has HPV, and having a mother that will expose it to a child during birth. So having the disease itself, sometimes people can have it for a long time and not have any symptoms for it. But sometimes it can lead to cirrhosis of the liver, meaning that the function of the liver will go down and will not effectively work. So sometimes you see people walking around with jaundice. It can also lead to liver failure and liver cancer. Of course, if you have HIV, it can make your symptoms even worse. So how do we prevent hepatitis B infection? So we know for the childhood ages, we have the vaccines that a child can have when they are born. A mother also should be tested whilst they're pregnant and treated if they test positive. Of course, having a healthy, safe sexual practices also helps a lot. So basically, to prevent such diseases, basically, you want to always make sure that you, as a person, you get checked. Make sure whoever you're having any sexual relationship with, you also know their status. Condom is a good way to prevent most STDs, including hepatitis B, and of course, avoid illegal drug use. Now, sometimes people will just get picked up on this disease doing a routine visit. You go to your primary care for an annual exam. Maybe they do a blood test and then they find out what's going on, and then they can do a detailed testing to exactly figure out what is needed. So you need a blood test to confirm that you have it. Then you need to get an ultrasound done. Get an ultrasound done to figure out how infected your liver is. Most people, like I said, will go without needing treatment. But if you have comorbidities like HIV, your symptoms can be worse, and then you need medication. Medication tends to be very, very expensive. It can be about $1,000 a month. So prevention is always the best. So then, if you get a little bit, let's say if you become chronic and it becomes symptomatic in the future, as you get older, you notice fatigue, weight gain, and like I said, there's no treatment for it. If you qualify for a liver transplant, that can be an option to get that done. But like I said, the biggest goal is to prevention, which is always a good thing. So that's just a little brief overview of hepatitis B. I'll move on to chronic kidney disease. So we all know the function of our kidneys is to basically remove waste and excess fluid from our system, and of course we get it out through the urine. Now, normally, if most kidneys should function very well to the end of your life. However, based on some risk factors, some people do develop chronic kidney disease, and some of the symptoms that most people will come up with in terms of having early signs of kidney disease would be same nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite. The most frequent one would be swelling of your feet or your joints mainly, and then sometimes chest pain if you have fluid around your heart, and shortness of breath if you have fluid around your lungs. So the most common cause of kidney disease, at least in the developed world, is type 1, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and chronic kidney infections. So that's why it's very, very important that we get checked yearly during our annual physical. So like I said, the risk factors will include diabetes, high blood pressure, smoking, obesity, and of course, we know minority population, African Americans, Native Americans, have a higher risk of developing chronic disease, chronic kidney disease. Having a family history is also a risk factor for that. And of course, we know as you age, your organs don't really don't work as well. So if you live long enough, some organ at some point will have some issues. So some of the complications for having a kidney disease, like I said earlier, you have fluid in your lungs. Sometimes you can have it in your legs as well. Your blood pressure can go up. Because the kidney sort of controls your electrolytes in your system. Sometimes if it's advanced enough, your potassium levels will be very high. And then you also, because the kidney also helps with the production of blood, sometimes if it's prolonged, you also have anemia. And like with any issues with any organs, it will affect your sex drive as well. So again, prevention. So going for your yearly checkup is always a good idea. One of the risk factors that I missed was taking long-term anti-inflammatory like ibuprofen, Motrin, and those kind of medications can affect your kidney. So if you can avoid taking over-the-counter medications for a prolonged period of time, that can also help. Also maintaining a healthy weight, not smoking, and always checking in with your provider always helps as well. So same thing when it comes to this, we can test kidney disease by doing a blood test, getting a urine test done to check for proteins in your urine, check for blood and some other electrolytes in there. You can also do an ultrasound of your kidney to figure out exactly what is going on. But as with most diseases, getting a biopsy will be the best option to get exactly the cause. Of course, hydration is also a good thing. So make sure if you're in a warm climate, you are hydrating very well, and making sure your blood pressure is controlled, your diabetes is controlled, and any other if you have any comorbidities, we tend to control that as well. So that's just a brief summary of the two topics. I will just end here, and if you have any questions, we can answer those. Madam, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Boachi.
Yes.
Thank you. I know we are running out of time. You had to rush through everything, but you promised last time that every time we call you, you're going to be available, right?
I am always available now that I'm coming back. I'm coming home next month, so I should be available. So
okay, I'm making some okra soup for you, so make sure you stop by.
Please and thank you.
Okay, Dr. Boachi. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks.
Okay, so we are going to introduce our baby last right now, who is a nutritionist. Our baby last, the baby last is always pampered. My beautiful nutritionist, Angela Apia. Angela Apia, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Yeah, so Angela is a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist, over 10 years with experience in leadership, expertise in business and public administration, public health, maternal and child nutrition, culinary arts, food service operations, and menu creations. So this beautiful lady proudly works as a director at the Women, Infant, Children Nutrition Program, which is called WIC, for a county organization. So beautiful, Angela, the platform is yours. Take over. I think you're muted. Is she muted?
Yeah.
Okay, we can hear you now.
You
Yes.
can hear me? Thank you for the introduction, my beautiful sister. Thank you to GNC. Thank you for our audience. And yes, you saved the best for last. And I know everybody is in a hurry to go watch the presidential debate, but this is very vital. So I'll try to rush through this as quickly as possible, and hopefully you can get something to take with you. So I'm going to share a screen. Okay.
Angela, are you okay? I think you've muted yourself.
Yes, I'm trying to share a screen here, and I was just having some technical issues.
Okay. Are you gonna be okay?
Yes, I got the screen now.
You got the screen now? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So our producer is helping you to project it. Okay, we got it. You're
so we're here. Okay, so make it quick. So we saved the best for last, and today we've kind of talked a whole lot about nutrition. I was trying to count the word diet and staying healthy in all the presenters' presentation today. And so to just what a better way to end the health fair today. Can you hear me? I'm sorry, can you hear me?
You're good.
Okay, good. So I'm going to leave you with 3 nutrition tips. And the 3 nutrition tips, we're in October. The year is almost over. If you're alive, that's a blessing. Try to adapt these lifestyle changes, and then we can all celebrate 2021. So we talked about hypertension, diabetes, mental health, and all of that cannot be well achieved if you don't have better nutrition and if you don't have a healthy lifestyle. So I picked these 3 items, 3 topics to focus on. And the first topic that I wanted to talk about was choosing my plate, practice portion control, know your oils, and limit saturated fats. So that's this slide. So choose my plate. This is, if you ever heard of the food guide pyramid, this is actually a replacement of the food guide pyramid by USDA. And this is just to provide guidance for people so they can stay healthy. In doing so, if you're eating, your plate should consist of these items: your grains, your protein, your vegetable, fruits, and dairy. In our culture, drinking milk is not like the most popular items, especially for adults. However, for our children growing up, we want to focus on low-fat milk from age 2 and up. If they're under age 2, you want to consider the whole milk. And so, to name a few of our grains, when they say grains on the plate, in our culture, we are focusing on rice, cocoyam, cornmeal, your plantains, cassava, millet, yam, potatoes, cane, whole grains, millet, cocoa, ayokoko, all of that is considered grains. And then your proteins will be your chicken, eggs, lamb, goat meat, fish, beans, lentils, and all of that, to name a few. So I'm just going to browse through this since we're kind of for the sake of time. And vegetables, our popular vegetables are spinach, okra, jute leaves. So all of these, as you can see on the screen, I'm sure everybody can read, you can see that, are considered having a balanced diet. Now with the next slide. So the next slide here talks about portion sizes, using your hands as a guide to gauge your portions. Now you've captured choosing a plate, making sure you eat from all the 5 food groups. Make a fist. And if you make a fist, if all the panel on here make a fist, we would know that our fist sizes aren't the same. So what I can eat, Empress cannot eat. I think I say this at almost every presentation, that we cannot all eat the same amount of food because we have different heights and body weights and different activity levels. We're also talking about fingertip, using your fingertip, if you see the screen clearly, as to measure for butter and fats and oils. And then when they say have a handful of almonds, this is the size that it shows you on the screen. Your thumb, using that as a teaspoon to measure your serving size for peanut butter as well. And then your palm, you're going to use that to measure that for your protein. So your proteins, like if you're having goat soup and fufu, you should be having goats be the size of a deck of cards. I know some people are going to be mad at me for saying this, but moderation is always the key. So this slide here talks about knowing your fats and oils. Why is this important? There's so many other topics I could have focused on nutrition, but I noticed in our culture, we cook a lot with different type of oils, and there's so much hype about coconut oils and palm oils and its benefits. So I decided to just show this slide of a study of that's done by Harvard University, Harvard Medical School Publishing, showing the saturated levels in oils. The slide on the left shows from peanut butter to canola. And as you can see, the orange is your monosaturated. So there are two different types of fats. We have monosaturated fats and saturated fat. And I had a screen on that, so I'm gonna show you that. Okay, so that's missing. It's not there, so we'll just browse through this quickly. So the saturated fat basically is what's bad for your heart, and monosaturated fat is good for your heart. So you find that monosaturated fats are like your you find that in olive oils, canola oils, and then the saturated fat you're going to find in coconut oils and palm oils. Anything that's hard at room temperature is considered saturated fat. Anything that's liquid in room temperature, you will find the monounsaturated fat in it. So this is our palm oils. I picked these four oils, because this is what I find that we use a lot in our community. So these oils, this is your palm oil and your coconut oil, you want to use in moderation because they are high, even though they have great benefits. If you're using coconut on your skin, it's great. If you're using it for cooking, you definitely want to consider moderation because it will increase your lipid levels, as in cholesterol levels. So that graph that I showed you, palm oil and coconut oils, shows that they are 50% high in saturated fat. Choose these oils. Canola oils and olive oils have higher contents of monounsaturated fat. And this is the slide here. It says, I wanted to say this, please do not fry your chicken and fish in olive oil, because if you are frying, you're at a high smoke point, you're actually killing the good fat in olive oil. You want to use canola for more cooking and more frying and baking. Try to use more room temperature oils than the ones that get solid. Also, use in moderation if you're using oils. The fact that it's good doesn't mean that you should have a whole overload of it. And I also have the screen here with good fats, like solid items like avocado, salmon, flax seeds. All of these are good in omega-3 fats, which is also good for your heart. I know I'm rushing. So just before you leave today, I want you to remember that if you're eating and you're dieting, I hear a lot of people, they ask me when they hear the word dietitian, the first thing that comes in mind is, how can I lose weight? And the most important thing that I want to tell people is you want to lose weight by making changes to your actual diet, meaning practicing portion control, not cutting out carbohydrates, not cutting out the main source of energy, which is your carbohydrates, because people do no carb diet and they lose all the weight and they have no idea how to get back on track or to stay healthy, and they gain the weight back. So choose My Plate as your way to incorporate all 5 food groups in your diet. Practice portion control. Limit saturated fat by choosing healthy fats. As you age, our BMI is very important, body mass index. You want to make sure you know that when you go to the doctor so that you stay healthy, exercise, take a walk, and practice moderation. Thank you. And if you have more questions, you can always reach me on Instagram and Ask Creations.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Angela Apia, beautiful, beautiful friend of mine. We'll talk backstage. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
So,
you.
is the president back? We've come to the end of our program. Is the president back? He is. Okay, so I'll give the platform to the president to give us a closing remark, and then Mr. Kakape, you can join me later, and then we can bring the program to an end. Okay, over to you, Mr. Parkway Sisam.
Well, thank you. I just want to say you guys are just awesome. I mean, this program I've been watching. I've been, I've, yeah, I've been watching from the beginning to the end, and thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Everything you have said is very important. A lot of viewers have taken a lot of yes, and we appreciate you. So on behalf of the Ghana National Council, all the volunteers that came on, we want to thank the viewers first, and then I appreciate you for everything that you have done. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'm having a lot of issues with my broadcast, but it's all good. Thank you so much. God bless you all. You all have a nice evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I know you're a family man. You're probably spending some time with your family right now, and we are disturbing you, but I know you love your work. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good
God
night.
bless you all. Thank
God
you.
bless you too. Okay, Mr. Kakape, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh wow, Ubo hot to send meter.
Yes, sure.
So, Mr. Kakape, what do you think of the show tonight?
So I have two things to describe what I just witnessed. So great presentation and professionalism. And it tells you what we can do when we come together as a team. These are information people pay money to get. And even in some cases, they don't even get well. And here we are. The Ghana National Council is going all out to provide us with all this information. I've learned a lot. And as for Eunice, for putting these people together, I mean, I'm going to give you a phone call every now and then because I will need either a gynecologist, a pediatrician, or this one. And next week, as for Eunice, I'm going to disturb you the whole of next week because by the end of next week, I won't be here. But great presentation, great presenters, professionals. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your selfless and making yourself available to the community for making and also making sure that this program becomes successful and at the end of the day becomes a reality. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you all.
So, Eunice, I think you're muted.
Sorry. I didn't want to make any noise. This was a wonderful program. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Omama TV, Holiday Africa, Trend Africa, Ghana National Council, AGAPNA, Association of Ghanaian Council in Wisconsin, Pharmacy Association of Midwest, Gold Coast. I hope I haven't forgotten anybody, but we are extremely grateful. It is really, really difficult to put something together like this, especially because we know we always are in the fields. You know, we are checking people's blood pressure and doing everything hands-on. But I think that this went on very well. I will encourage all of us just continue to share the feed. It's going to be available on Facebook and YouTube. So anyone who couldn't make it, please tune in and get this valuable information. So we're grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, viewers, we have come to the end of the show. The show might be over, but then the professional panel are ready to answer your questions. And all this is for free. They are giving you all this information for free. So I just want to thank everyone, all our professional panel, for the time, my moderator, the president, my angel Eunice. I want to thank Trend Africa TV, CEO Black Jesus. I mean, he's been sitting behind the camera. Royal Black Jesus, I mean. He's been sitting behind the camera for over 2 hours now and producing us, and he did an awesome job. We want to thank Omama TV, and then we also want to thank Progressive Minds. I mean, everyone, Ghana National Council, everyone that put their heads together to bring this into being. I just want everyone to know that there's an incredible value in being of service to others. Today, we celebrate this professional, dynamic panelists who graciously gave us their precious time and knowledge. We just want to recognize and thank each one of them from the bottom of our hearts. And till next year when we organize another Health Expo, I just want to say stay safe. Good night.
To advertise with us, donate sponsorships and suggestions, email us at trendafricatv@gmail.com or call us on 773-312-0318 or 773-756-6678. Remember to also follow and like us as Trend Africa TV on Facebook so you can always catch us live. On Instagram as Trend Africa TV 123 or subscribe to our YouTube channel as Trend Africa TV and click on the notification button to watch previous shows. You can also visit our website for your African news, entertainment, fashion, and sports updates on www.trendafricaonline.net. Trend Africa TV, redefining Africa.